Chin Chan Hakasaka Waka Baka Tikitka Bakataka Panini Pinisinini was a Chongli, China native, and he lived in the district of Shamshupo in Hong Kong. See, Chin Chan worked hard, earning a salary of 1 million a year, but because of the housing catastrophe, disaster, malevolence that is Chinese housing, he had to, at the big ass ripe wet age of 50, live in a coffin home, because rent was so high that even if you have $1 million a year, that's nothing for the $500,000 a month rent that you're gonna have to pay to live in Hong Kong. His coffin home wasn't too shabby. He had a computer for watching big booty ebony porn. He had his tissues to clean up the cockroaches, and he had his TV to watch the Chongli International News. And everything was good in the world in his tiki small coffin Count Dracula home, until one day things changed. One day Chin Chan Hawachokochuku Barbie came home after his 95-hour shift at the sweatshop where he made iPhone 14s all day with $10 worth of materials. And Chin Chan came home with a big bowl of dinner, and in that big bowl was some hot, wet, slippery ramen noodles. And Chin Chan set up a movie and set up his bed and sat down, and before he ate his food, Chin Chan bowed his head in honor of the Chun-Li ancestors of the life before him, and he also bowed his head in honor of the coffin home gods. And then he proceeded to eat his food in his small little coffin. And this is when the malevolence unfolded like a vagina lip fold. When Chin Chan ate the first bite, the heat and spiciness of the ramen burned the upper part of his top mouth back, and he screamed. And as he screamed, he jolted upward, and his head hit the top of the coffin that he layeth in, and blood trickled down his forehead. And as he touched his forehead and looked at the blood on his fingertips that dripped like a gushers from his forehead, the coffin above his coffin started to shake, and then it started to crack, and then it started to wibble, and then it started to wobble, and then it started to bobble, and then it started to fall apart, and a loud old Chun-Li creaking noise came out, and all of the people in the coffin home started to shake, and the coffin home fell, and everyone was squished and squashed, even the cute old Chong-Li babushka that lived on the 3rd floor of the coffin house. Her death was extra peculiar. The old babushka Chong-Li got crushed and squished under the foundation, and her juices splattered much like a tomato, and she let out a squeal as she died. And the foundation continued to crumble and crumble and crumble, and everybody in that coffin monster dwelling fell through, and they all at once fell on Chin Chan's body, And the pressure from all of that weight crushed and juiced and milked Chin Chan, and his head pressed out like a cold brew from Starbucks, and his eyes popped out of his eye butthole socket, and his poop bag spleen shot out shit everywhere, and the foul smell of Hong Kong pollution filled the air. And it got worse. As the building was crumbling on Chin Chan, his TV started to spark electricity, and that building lit up like a lit TikTok dance video. And everyone in that monster, massive coffin home burned and crushed and pulverized and penetrated to death. And all of the firefighters and police brigade and everyone in the whole of Chun Li, Hong Kong came to the site. And as the fire brigade and the police and everybody came to the site, they looked at the building in flames, scared. And through all the dust and through all the ashes and all of the soot, they heard a rolling noise. Something was coming out of the dust and the darkness, and it revealed itself to be Chin Chan's eyeballs, and right behind it was Chin Chan's testicle balls, and everybody that was there gasped in disgust, and nothing was ever the same, was ever the same. In the Coffin House, Count Dracula city of Hong Kong, ever again. The end. Said Chin as he let out his last breath before he died.